Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda.
Good morning. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning and welcome to the June 8th meeting of the Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Mrs. Beidelman's here for our prayer this morning. Appreciate you coming this morning.
Thank you. Just wanted to share a thought with you too from a devotion I was reading talking about Gideon, and it made me think of the commissioners and their staff. It says, many other individuals play a significant part in the plan to save the Israelites from a strong enemy force. God provided Gideon with 300 men, valiant heroes all to win the battle. We are not told their names, but their bravery and obedience are recorded in the scripture. Today, God is still calling ordinary people to do his work and assuring us that he will be with us as we do. Because we are ordinary people being used by God, it's obvious that the power comes from God and not from us. And so, Lord, we thank you for that, because you just remind us that even everything the commissioners and their staff do for Lorain County, that the power and the wisdom and knowledge that they have, it comes from you. And Lord, we know as long as they stay on track and trust you for the answers they need to make Lorain County a better place to live in, that it's going to happen. And every resource, we know that they search diligently to see what they can find to help Lorain County. And we thank them for that. We thank you for using each and every one on this team, Lord, to make Lorain County a better place. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you.
Come on, little baby girl.
We have a wire hair terrier mix. It's a female. She's about 4 years old. Can you sit? Can you sit? Be a good girl. Sit. Good girl. Look at her. She's a sweetheart. She's got a great personality. Can't imagine that her parents haven't come to find her yet, but she will be available tomorrow. Come down to the dog kennel. We really super need your help this week. Had a lot of dogs over the weekend, like 12. Rescue groups came in and helped us out a lot, but we really need the citizens of Lorain County to come through and help us get these dogs adopted and find a good home. So check us out on Facebook. You can see all the dogs that we have available. Thank you. A face a mother would love probably, but her personality seems to make up for her looks, right, Ted?
Yes.
He wasn't so keen on how she looked this morning, but she had a great personality. Madam Clerk?
She's got a good personality.
Yeah.
At 9:45, we'll have a presentation on seed ventures. Under resolutions, there are no investments. Appropriations?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo?
Aye.
Transfers?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo?
Aye.
No advances, no repayments. Requisitions?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo?
Aye.
Travel?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo?
Aye.
Bills?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo?
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Mr. Cortez.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. I do have a couple personnel items, essentially some new hires at Golden Acres and in the maintenance department. I also am in receipt of a completed contract between the United Steelworkers and Lorain County Corporate Courts that I want to review with you. And also the potential sale and purchase of real estate. All three topics are allowable under the Sunshine Act for executive session discussions. So I'd ask at the conclusion of today's meeting, we go into executive session, we talk about those three issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Approve and waive the reading of the minutes of July 1st and 7th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Approve payment to victim of domestic violence, Lorain County Safe Harbor, Inc., DBA Genesis House, in the amount of $24,273.72, as collected by Lorain County for the period January 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2015, in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 2303.201 and 311.3.34339.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Under Community Development, award contract to Precision Paving, Inc., Mylan, in the amount of $43,475, which includes a contingency for any unforeseen change orders for Camden Court and Jones Street Improvement Project in Kipton. 4 bids were received on June 25th, and this is the most responsive complying with specifications. Issue notice to proceed on or before July 8th and complete on or before December 31st. Authorize administrator to notify the auditor to release retainage at completion of project and will be paid from contract services account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Under Job and Family, advertise RFP for Business English and Work Experience Program. Notice to be in the Journal on July 13th and 20th and open at 2 p.m. on July 27th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Advertise RFP for Personal Development and Environmental Education Program. Notice to be in the Chronicle on July 13th and 20th and open at 2:30 on July 27th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Under the engineer, approve and enter a contract with OR Cullen, Fairview Park, in the amount not to exceed $2,200 to provide the appraisal review services associated with acquisition and additional right-of-way required for the Middle Ridge and Oberlin Road project, which will be paid from the MVGT engineer project account. Authorize engineer to execute on behalf of the board with prosecutor's approval as to form.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Award contract to Bechdare Berlin Center in the amount of $1,534,955.90 for the Jones Road Bridge 1016 replacement project in Penfield Township. 4 bids were received on June 25th, this being the most responsive complying with specifications. No substitutions, but will use Dot Diamond Core Drilling, Amber Asphalt or Barbicus, Black Swamp Steel, Inc., MP Dory Company, CJ Zack Company, Inc., Newmeyer Environmental Services, Inc., Traftech, Inc., Athos Contracting, and Toledo Kazan Corporation. Funding is 95% federal. Remaining 5% will be paid from the MVGT bridge account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Mr. Cortez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I do have a couple brief issues this morning, Commissioners. Time is always an issue with things. I have 2 911 purchases I want to pass to you. One is for engineering on a tower in North Ridgeville. I pulled it out of board business this week. I had a couple questions on the fee. I received sufficient answers with regard to that. The fee was for the owner of the tower to have an engineering company look at the loads, that new equipment that we want to place on the tower how it would affect it with the loads, wind loads and so forth. It's something we have to do in accordance with the contract that they require to use their tower. So I want to get that passed. We're trying to get that last microwave link into North Ridgeville. Eventually, I have discussed, and I don't know that I've discussed it with Commissioner Lundy since he's been here, but we have previously discussed eventually the county having its own tower system around the county. But we're pretty well weighed down with all the new record software and the next generation equipment that we need to start working on. But all this equipment that we've purchased that's located on leased space can be moved to our own tower system in the future. But right now, we need to do this one.
I'll make a motion to approve. And did you have any questions?
Yeah, so that's pretty much an access fee of some sort, is what it really comes down to.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with it. We pay lease to be on the tower, and then we got to pay $2,500 so somebody can
Access.
tell us it's okay to put our
Okay.
equipment. You would think when the tower is designed, they would know what the load limits are of the tower, but I agree, it's an access fee more than anything else.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
All right.
Did you have another issue?
I do. I need to get a couple pieces of computer equipment for the training facility we're using at 911 for the CAD. I also had some conversation with that for where it was being purchased from. I'm satisfied that we've gotten the best price possible on that. Then the equipment will come from the CAD training down into the comm center, and we'll use it down there until we upgrade to the new next generation of dispatch console equipment that's required by federal law. So.
Did you need to read anything about that, or just,
It's just to authorize the purchase of the equipment.
okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
All right.
And the last piece is another, it's a contract, it's another contract with a company to do a wage survey down in Pheasant Run. As you know, we've been working down there on getting sewers down there, and we've been looking at their on-site system that's really in terrible condition. There's 550 thereabouts homes. We just discovered that there may be possibly some EPA money that we can access, but it's only for low to moderate income. I think that some of the folks down there, if enough of them qualify, we may be able to get some grant money, but I have to do this wage survey with this company to get them down there and knock on every door and try to get data. And we only have a handful of weeks to get this done. The contract is for $8,700, $8,750. It'll be recovered when we do the project. It'll be part of the recovery for the whole project. But I really feel an urgency to see we can get some outside federal monies to assist those residents down there. They're really in a bad way. So because time's short, I just got this morning, and I'm passing it to you.
Well, some of the Broadway sewer in Amherst, we had to do that on also years and years ago.
We have.
Broadway
and
Taylor?
Yes,
That one, yeah.
Broadway Taylor,
Right.
yes.
This just came to my attention on Thursday. I asked to get the company in here and get a contract. It came in this morning, and I just want to execute, move forward, and do the wage survey down there. I'm not going to guarantee we're going to get funding, but I can tell you if we don't do the survey, we're not going to get funding
Right.
at all.
Any opportunity to bring federal money back to the area to help our residents.
Do we think we have a good chance of having that many LMI people living in?
It's really hard to tell. It's an older housing area.
I mean, is it rentals too?
There's some rentals down there. It's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
There's some homes that are in really fine condition. There's some that are not in such fine condition. So we got to get in there and fix those sewers, and that's what we're doing. And right now, you're finishing up the contract with LaGrange, Jerry, and so we're very, very close to having all the pieces of the puzzle put together so we can begin the project. Even if things fall together in the next few weeks, we're still not going to be sewered down there until the spring of 17. It's a big project. We're bringing all the sewer lines down from LaGrange, and we have to repair all the on-site system, which is probably the worst we've ever seen. And we have to collapse their package plant and put an equalization tank in to level the load going up to Grafton, because we're using a forced main in order to save some funding. And of course, LaGrange is working with us on a contract, and they're putting a new ring on their plant to take the extra capacity. They've always had the ability. They have build-out capacity for their plant. It's been there, but they have to put that new ring on. And so timing is everything with this, because we have penalties if once the contract's done, if we don't get within the window when their plant's done and they're paying for it, and we have our sewers ready to go, we have some issues. So it's a very delicate process with this project.
When we did Broadway Taylor, did we use our own community development people to go out there and knock on doors, or did we actually hire someone?
We may have.
just don't have the
It was,
staff
but this
to do
is
that?
550 homes. Broadway Taylor was
Yeah,
a handful.
Right.
This is beyond our capability.
Okay. It's
The-
definitely worth it if we are able to bring money back, there's no doubt.
And even if we don't, it's recaptured in the assessment.
Right, it'll all be part of the project cost. This project, all in, is going to run about $5 to $6 million. A huge chunk of that is the on-site repair work that needs to be done to their in-ground infrastructure that hasn't really been properly serviced in 20 or 30 years.
And it's not our sewer, it's,
Right now, it still belongs to the association,
right,
but
so
we're
it's
in the
not like we've
process.
neglected it.
No,
It's-
we have not. A
Okay,
good
I just
point.
want to make sure that
Excellent
everyone
point.
understands that.
This was
They've asked us to come in and help us do this for them.
correct. They're under EPA orders and findings. The only thing that's keeping them from being significantly fined is that they're working with us towards a solution. The EPA can be fairly hostile at times, but usually if they see that you're working towards a solution, they'll wait. As you know, we were fined $1.5 million 10 years ago, maybe a little less than 10 years ago, for some package plant problems that we had that have been persistent for a number of years, and we were able to negotiate that down almost to nothing. Well, with $250,000, I wouldn't call it nothing, but a significant reduction as we brought the plants up to code. I suspect the same thing will happen. Pheasant Run does have some fines that are out there, but I think that they'll be lapsing as we progress in the project.
Good. I'll make a motion to approve that contract.
Second.
Any further discussion? Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
I have no further comments this morning, thank you.
Mr. Innes?
I do have two matters of pending litigation. One, I do need to talk to you today. The other, if we're short of time, I can defer it till later, but I would like to have an executive session for those purposes.
Commissioners report.
I have no report this morning.
Team Lorain County Executive Committee met, putting together a task force to determine the best way for Team Lorain County to work in regards to business retention and expansion since the attraction piece has faded away, and Jobs Ohio and Team NEO want a private sector board to handle business retention expansion, which is something that government always does, so to bring that together. Board of Commissioners met this week. We had a road vacation hearing in Eaton Township that was approved. And congratulations, friends of mine, the Loco Yaks, Rob Costco, Stephanie Moore Costco, and Josh Notley are being awarded with the Keep Ohio Beautiful Award on Friday. They put together over 420 volunteers, removed 13.7 tons of garbage and 11.17 tons of tires out of the Black River.
Wow. Nice.
Pride Day weekend, so great job for those guys. They're really involved. Great group of people. Congrats. End of my report.
Had the opportunity this past week sit down with Mayor Zilka, a council member, just go over some pending issues in Avon Lake. Wanted to thank all the businesses throughout the county who really step up and help support the fireworks in the respective communities. Otherwise, those fireworks would not be possible because of such limited funds these days. 4th of July weekend, as I said, a lot of good events going on there. Want to congratulate our Lake Erie Crushers for having a sellout crowd there Friday night and Saturday night, and I think that's something we always have to pay attention to as far as tourism efforts. That stadium brings a lot of people in from outside our area, and we need them to stay in the hotels and eat in our restaurants and spend some money in the county while they're in here if they're visiting from a neighboring county. And also at 3 p.m. today, have a chance to tour the new Brookside High School, and the ribbon cutting will take place at 4 p.m. Just want to commend the school board and the mayors, council, this past superintendent, the current superintendent, everybody who worked on it, because it just really took a collective effort to make that whole project possible. And I guess Sheffield Village, Sheffield Lake Weather Community Day is coming up this weekend.
200th anniversary.
Board correspondence.
I move the reading be waived.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
We'll do a presentation.
You're
Cullen
on.
Naumoff, the Oberlin Project.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning,
Morning,
Jerry.
Jerry.
I'm Jerry Goode with the Lorain County Community Development Department, Economic Development Coordinator. I'm happy to have with me this morning Cullen Naumoff, She's the Sustainable Enterprise Director for the Oberlin Project. Along with her is Scott Pulver. Scott is an intern working there this summer, and they've been working on a project. We've met a couple times with them called Seed Ventures, and I'd like to invite them up to share that with you.
Great, thank you. Morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much, Jerry. I appreciate the introduction. And commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this morning. So as Jerry mentioned, my name is Cullen Naumoff, and I'm the Director of Sustainable Enterprise at the Oberlin Project. And my colleague here, Scott Pulver, and I are here to talk about Seed Ventures. Before I do so, though, I certainly want to provide some context for why we're here and who we are. So the Oberlin Project, briefly, is a collaboration between Oberlin College and the city of Oberlin. And our role in the community is really to address gaps in the existing community and economic development landscape and fill those with initiatives that build capacity in existing organization and use a lens of sustainability to design those solutions. So my role there at the project is to think about what's the strategic development direction of sustainable economic development. And one way we know that happens in Oberlin and Lorain County and the nation at large is through business cultivation. So certainly we have business retention and attraction, but what we have started to really focus on is that business cultivation piece. So in order to address that, we started a group called Hatch. And Hatch is essentially a platform to connect community and other area entrepreneurs to group problem solve, provide connectivity to existing resources, including many that exist in Lorain County to support entrepreneurs, and generally build an entrepreneurial ecosystem. And you know, Kauffman Foundation has done a lot of work on this, and this is generally why the Silicon Valleys, the Austins, the Boulders of the world are so successful, is because they have all the entrepreneurs working and talking and collaborating together. So through Hatch, we have provided this tool, but we have noticed there's additional need to provide structured support around what does an entrepreneurial ecosystem look like. So we have, again, vetted kind of different strategies to do this and have developed a concept called Seed Ventures. And Seed Ventures is a pop-up incubator and marketplace. And I'm going to pass the torch now to Scott, who's going to give you an overview of what Seed Ventures is about. We certainly sent ahead some documents on the topic, but if anyone needs any, we have copies here, so just let me know. Scott.
Thank you, everybody, for letting us be here today. So as Cullen was saying, Seed Ventures is sort of two things put together. It's a pop-up and a business incubator. So we've seen pop-ups nationwide succeed, and locally in Akron. Akron had a pop-up in their North Hill, thank you. North Hill district, really revitalizing the area. Increased foot traffic, increased business sales, not just for the businesses in the pop-up, but surrounding as well. And so our idea is to take this pop-up model and give people support. In the Hatch group, we've talked with a lot of local entrepreneurs in Oberlin and Lorain, and one of the things we've heard is people are very skilled in their craft. People build beautiful wooden furniture, people make great homemade cards, they've got these great trade skills, they don't have the business support or resources to make it into a full business. So that's what Seed Ventures is about. So part of that is the pop-up. We want to give them a retail outlet and physical space so that they have the space to produce their goods, they have that access to market to be able to sell, to talk with customers, to pivot their business plan, to change, to see how they're doing, to work on their marketing, the practical side of things. And then to support them, we have the business incubator. So we're partnering with the Lorain Small Business Development Center to provide business workshops, one-on-one mentoring, things like that. To give them further support, we're trying to recruit local student talent, so people from LC3, the local high schools, JVS, Oberlin College, to do student consulting for these entrepreneurs. So students know graphic design, web development, social media really well. The entrepreneurs we're talking to, you know, like this summer with me, I didn't know how to use Twitter. And so for these 40-year-old entrepreneurs, a lot of them are in the same boat. We're pairing them with students who have years of experience doing that with the entrepreneurs. So then the students get something on their resume, professional experience, some interest and exploration into the industry and entrepreneurship, and the entrepreneurs then gain presence, they gain capacity, and they're furthering their business development. So I just want to go over real quick. I don't know how many of you have the sheet in front of you. Some of the highlights that we have. From a community perspective, we're looking at this as creating new businesses, as Colin alluded to, business cultivation. So trying to increase the amount of businesses, job creation, things like that, and build that entrepreneurial ecosystem. One of the things that we've noticed is a lot of entrepreneurs don't know each other, and they don't know the resources available in Lorain County. And so that's one of the advantages of Seed Ventures, is trying to build that connectivity. Let people know that, hey, you don't know how to write a business plan? Here's Lorain SBDC, right? We don't want to create new resources. We want to repackage existing ones and create those connections. We think that's really valuable, and we think that's what's led to success in a lot of other areas. Yeah, so a real quick run through of our budget. We're trying to fundraise $20,000 through public and private partners. We're trying to get about $10,000 for the physical space of the pop-up, which will run from October to December of 2015. And then we're looking for about $10,000 for the other part, the business incubator, which will run from September to January. So September is all about, let's see where everybody's at, get them some basic business coaching, set up those goals. October through December is, let's get you in the marketplace, get you producing, get you selling, let's pivot, let's look at the numbers every month and see how you can be adapting to the market. And then at the end, January is about next steps, because we don't want this to be, the end of January. We want to see what's right for you. Is that finding another person to co-sign a lease with? Is that filling an empty storefront in Lorain? Is that partnering with someone to sell in their store? Figuring out whatever the next best step is for them. So it's that 5-month program. We currently have applications open for our entrepreneurs. It's open to anybody in Lorain County, specifically early stage entrepreneurs. So anybody who has a prototype of a good or service, up to they've made $10,000 in non-continuous sales at things like craft shows and things like that. And we're targeting 4 markets: local foods and agriculture, arts and tourism, resource recovery, and energy efficiency. And we think those are 4 markets that really play to Ohio's and Lorain's strengths specifically, and we think we can cultivate and try and build that center. Like Silicon Valley has done for technology, we think we can do similar things in Lorain County. Yeah, so applications are open until July 15th. So if you know anyone, please let them know, including anybody in the audience. If you know any entrepreneurs or aspiring business owners in Lorain County, please forward them to this opportunity. We're also seeking funding. We've raised several $1,000s so far and are currently looking for other partnerships. We're in talks with the city of Oberlin College. We've gotten money from the Nord Family Foundation and a couple other community partners. And then the last call to action was?
Driving consumers to the pop-up.
Oh, that's right. So when the pop-up opens in October, we're looking to increase marketing and things like that as a tourist destination, so that people not only go to the pop-up, but then they go to other places in Oberlin and Lorain as well. So I think Cullen wanted to talk a little bit more about those 3 call to actions. Yeah.
Right, so we're happy to entertain any questions now on the topic and on the concept, but I would just hit home that the applications are open to any Lorain County resident. They're due July 15th, so seedventuresoberlin.org. We encourage you to pass along that information. The second piece of the puzzle is we are currently seeking financial investment. So should the county be interested and be willing to make an investment in this business cultivation strategy, that would be something that we would like to hear your thoughts on as well. And then again, that third piece, please, as the information comes out about the pop-up marketplace, we want to be sure that we're driving models there, or consumers there. The interesting thing is we've also had conversations with Tony Gallo and again, of course, Don and Jerry about what does a spinoff look like, and we do think this has opportunities outside of Oberlin in terms of a rotating model to feature vacant spaces that exist within our county. Again, this has been proven successful to really bring life to various blocks that currently could use increased foot traffic and things of that nature. So at this time, I would welcome any questions you have on the concept.
Well, 2 things I've thought of. I don't know if Team Lorain County, if that would be something that they would want to help out in this, and also the Pulse magazine, like maybe a story about the pop-ups and what they're going to be doing.
Certainly.
It sounds
So-
like what Lorain did this, or has done this a few times recently, but it's like you guys are maybe taking it to the next level with the collaboration with the college students and, you know, the promoting not just, you know, the entrepreneurs. So I think it sounds like a really good project. So.
Certainly, and also just to speak to Pulse Magazine, we did speak with Tony, and they're going to do a feature in the fall for the entrepreneurs who have been selected. So we'll select 6 entrepreneurs out of the total applicant pool.
Good.
Well, that sounds like a nice concept, as Commissioner said, the pop-ups in Lorain, they did work, a couple of companies made it after the pop-up.
Yeah.
So anything that increases foot traffic in our downtowns, as a former downtown businessman, I appreciate.
Yeah, right.
Great.
Are you working with the main streets as well, too, those organizations? You know, I mean, every time I venture over to Crocker Park, I think we have our own Crocker Parks in Elyria and Lorain and Amherst, and you know, it's just everybody's trying to recreate those downtown feelings, and we actually have them. It's just a matter of how to make them vibrant and successful, and you know, and I certainly think pop-ups, especially moving it around, is critical.
Yeah, and we also think that is an interesting concept to really build consumer connectivity between our metros and Lorain County. So you build a brand awareness around Seed Ventures, and then consumers want to travel to see kind of that next iteration of entrepreneurs. And to your point, Commissioner Lundy, our fiscal agent actually is Oberlin's Main Street organization called Oberlin Business Partnership, and Mr. Gallo was very helpful in connecting us to other regional main streets who we've sent the information to as well.
And you're looking for eco-friendly businesses as well?
So the 4 target markets that Scott mentioned, you know, do kind of really double around this idea of the triple bottom line, so balancing impact to people, profit, and planet. And we also know those are Oberlin's, and I do think it can extrapolate to Lorain County strengths. So this is the idea of building on existing economic strengths as opposed to trying to kind of create this new niche that another community already has the hold on. Certainly, we do welcome, though, applications from any sector.
And I think, as I suggested in our meeting, I also suggest meeting with the Farm Bureau and, you know, having extensive discussions with them.
I'm heading to their pork chop dinner on Monday
You
night.
are.
So.
I'll see you for dinner then. It's great
All right,
pork chop.
that sounds great.
You mentioned branding. I know when I went down to the city of Lorain when they had the pop-ups, if you didn't have the addresses and you didn't know exactly where the pop-ups were located, if you had like a sign that would, you know, let people know where those pop-ups are, so and just place them, you know, in the locations where the new business is located, that would be very helpful, because I probably missed a couple when I was down there. It was at Christmas time, remember when they did those? And you really didn't know where they were, so like one sign that was the same for each one would be helpful.
And it's interesting, so that's the great thing about pop-ups is they each take a different model. And so our model is a little different than Lorain's because our 6 businesses that will feature will all be in one space.
Oh, okay.
And so, you know, that will be branded with Seed Ventures and then each of the entrepreneur businesses. And also working very closely with Oberlin Business Partnership, who gets city B&O taxes to support radio ads. And so they will be also marketing it on the radio in terms of the location of the pop-up shop, which will feature 6 internally.
Okay,
What facility are you gonna use?
Are you familiar with Ads Found Galleries in Oberlin? It's the antique store across from the Fev.
Yes.
The pop- yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're talking with the store owner there to rent out that first floor space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great,
Good.
thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you again for your time, and we'll be in touch. Thanks.
Is there any other public comment?
Any other public comment? Seeing none, I move that we go into executive session as outlined by the administrator and assistant county prosecutor.
Second.
Thank you.
Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Lundy.
Aye.
Mr. Kalo.
Aye.
This has been a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.